Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. We meet today again on another episode of Security Scan 27. 27 scans have taken place till now. This episode all about and in last 1 week, national security. Straight away, the first important thing is with regard to China. The protests in China are growing because the Chinese have realized that their dictator Xi Jinping takes a step back when they start opposing him. Now, Xi Jinping has passed an order that the Chinese New Year will not be celebrated with fireworks, which is the traditional practice, but the Chinese have decided that they will go against his wish. The second issue is very important. The birth rate of Chinese is falling very, very rapidly. One would remember that almost about 15 or 16 years back, Chinese had followed what was called as the one child policy, restricting families to not have more than one baby. This resulted in low fertility rate, large aging population, and today the state is that it is expected by the year 2050, the average age of Chinese will be 50, it will be 42 in America, and it will just be 37 in India. It is always said that lower age makes the population more productive. So today, the Chinese parents are saying that they don't want to have babies simply because the work that they do is so hard that child care is simply not possible and it is very very costly. So the Chinese fertility rates are going down. So what it simply means is the shrinking population of Chinese will mean that countries' economic growth will also shrink. And this will also ensure that a lot of pressure is put on the public finances to take care of the old Chinese. So therefore, it's an opportunity for India to catch up because we said some time back that the difference between India and Chinese economy is 3 is to 1. Now at least we can reduce the difference between us and we can become equally powerful. The next issue is how Chinese carry out a theft of technological secrets. A Chinese employee was caught and he was stealing secrets from General Electrical Power. He had stolen lot of confidential files from the employer and he had hidden it in a digital photograph. Just imagine he had hidden it in a digital photograph of a sunset which he sent to himself. But he was caught and therefore and thereafter he was punished. So you can find out as to what all innovative methods Chinese use to steal secrets from the rest of the world. The next issue is Chinese government or the Chinese Communist Party taking control of the media units of Alibaba, which is one of the largest groups in China. Now, what is this media group that we are talking about? It is basically a video business which Alibaba has about 4 to 5% of the Chinese video business, and the government is taking it over because governments wants to keep an eye on what the Chinese citizens are doing. The next issue pertains to the United States, which has been providing training to the military of Taiwan because it is expected that Taiwan will be attacked by China in due course. So this will make the Taiwanese army better prepared, well trained, and China will not be able to run over Taiwan if at all it decides to invade Taiwan. The next issue pertains to Canada. The Canadian Medical Authority have issued on guidelines which say that alcohol is bad for health. In fact, it says not even one drop of alcohol is good for health. Even a small amount of alcohol can have serious health consequences because up till now the wisdom was that alcohol to small extent is good, but now the new reading is that even bad. Even a small alcohol is bad for the health. So this is a lesson even for the Indians also. But the next issue is the Ukraine war update. The one Wagner army veteran has defected to Norway, and he will. It is expected that he will talk about various war crimes which Russian army did in Ukraine. Now, what is Wagner army? Wagner army is a private Russian army which is taking part in a big way in this particular campaign. So this person who's defected now will now open up all the secrets, open up all the wrong things which have been done in the Ukraine war by Russia. The next issue is the open media or the open source or the, let's say, social media has so much of information that today open source intelligence is becoming very, very important, and anybody and everybody can be using it. The next issue pertains to Chat GPT. Chat GPT is a platform which has been created by one of the technological companies, and what it simply does is that it can produce sophisticated essays on complex subjects in seconds. Meaning, what you do is you want to write an essay on military tactics of Shivaji Maharaj. You write military tactics, Shivaji Maharaj, his navy, his army, his air force, etc. So if you put five, six important points which you want to be covered in that essay, this device, this software will gather information and produce an logical essay for you in a very in a matter of seconds. So what is the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Some experts are calling it as calculator for writing. What it simply means is calculator has eliminated the need for additions, subtractions, divisions, multiplications, etc. People have just forgotten this art of various calculations. So similarly, essay writing will also become mechanical. You just put up 4 5 points in the uh, this device, the chat GPT, and you'll be able to write essays, write articles, write let's say papers, etc. in a matter of seconds. The people who have invented this are saying that this uses artificial intelligence. It collects data from all over and produces the end result. This tremendous capability of various disruptive technologies, instead of worrying about it, we should see as to how better we can use it to close the technology gap or the knowledge gap between India and the developed world. I repeat, this should be taken as an addition to closing the gap between India and the developed world. The next issue pertains to internal security. The good news is Indian Army is finally going to get its AK-203, an AK-47 rifle, which is being produced in the ordnance factory in Amethi in Uttar Pradesh. The production is started on 17th of January, and it is expected that in a matter of 1 or 2 years, 100% of the parts will be produced locally, and the 5,000 rifles will be delivered by the month of March to the Indian Army. The factory has a productive capacity which can fully equip the persons of all security forces in India with AK-207, 203 assault rifles, which are suitable for various users due to their high adaptability. Also, India will be able to export its products to third countries after fulfilling the demands. Now, the next issue is the conference which is taking place of all police DGPs, police IGPs in the national capital. This police conference is going to focus on various issues of internal security like the cyber security, the drug terrorism, threats from across the border, etc. This is a 3 days conference which has already started, and it is being addressed by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, the Home Minister Shri Amit Shah, and also by the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. This is an annual meeting in which 350 top police officers of the country, of the rank of Director Generals, come and attend the conference. So various issues get discussed. Whatever new things have come up, they get talked about, and as a matter of policy, one learns from each other. So therefore, the focus is to improve policing in India. This is what this conference is all about, and hope something positive comes out so that policing quality in the country improves a lot. The next issue pertains to the food security, and it is about corruption which is there in the Food Corporation of India. The corruption in the Food Corporation of India was well known. The Union Minister, Mr. Piyush Goyal, was very blunt when he said that the Central Bureau of Investigation has raided a lot of officials of the Food Corporation of India. Now, what is important is he said the whistleblowers who have given this information should be institutionalized so that they can report incidents of grafts and the people who are there are caught. So, the CBI's Operation Kanak has revealed lot of malpractices committed by a syndicate of the Food Corporation of India officials, along with the millers or the middlemen, as they were called. This well-oiled system of bribery, misappropriation of stocks has come out to the light, and it's a time to carry out a massive cleanup. The cases of corruption should be taken to the logical end, and fast track adjunction is very vital because pilferage and adulteration was the standard operating procedure as far as wheat and rice procurement in Punjab was concerned. Right from laborers to top officials, all got a monthly cut. The losses to the government had been estimated to the tune of hundreds of crores. A similar nexus between the FCI, the private millers, the great grain merchants was also detected in other states also. So this corruption must be stopped, and people must be punished. Online payment is a viable option to bring in transparency. Administrative reforms, structural changes are also on the agenda. The minister has sought regular updates as far as transformation of the FCI and the Central Warehousing Corporation is concerned, with the direction to catch people who are corrupt. The next issue pertains to India's economic security. Himachal Pradesh has become the fourth state to go in for old pension scheme. This is a disaster. Punjab has done it earlier, and four Congress-ruled states have done earlier. No less a person than Shri Montek Singh Aluwalia, who was the former Planning Commission deputy chairman, has said that this is a recipe for final bankruptcy. The new pension scheme aims to rid the government of its ballooning pension liabilities. Plus, it is open to the private sector so that it provides equitable and fair distribution of funds among all the retired employees, thereby correcting the balance that is heavily tilted towards minuscule proportion of government employees. This time has come now to stop all this OPS, and even the private sector should be told to get into new pension scheme so that more money is available for development. The next issue pertains to trade between India and China, and it is about how the trade is the deficit is increasing. The bilateral trade reached a level of $135 billion in 2022, but in this, the India's exports was barely 17 billion. I repeat, 17 billion, and the imports were 101 billion. So therefore, the trade deficit is more than 100 billions. It is very wrong on our part. The corporate world is still very heavily dependent on them. The merchants are still not got have still got used to cheap Chinese goods and are not willing to produce anything inside India. And of course, China or Beijing does not allow for any penetration of its market, which it wants to keep it for himself, keep it for itself. So therefore, India's trade deficit keeps on increasing. Now, the issue is, let us hope that in the budget which is going to be presented on 1st of February, this will be taken care of in the sense that we will try and manufacture more things in India under what is called as the PLI, that is public linked correction, linked in production linked initiative, which gives a lot of government support to certain industries which are able to produce the item in India itself. The next issue is about economic security, the digital payment. Government has decided that it will earmark 2,600 crores for providing the banks with incentive to promote digital payment, and this is a welcome step because it will deepen the alternatives available for digital payment worldwide. So this is a very good thing. Only thing is, at one point of time, government needs to urgently ring fence the wealth of individual spending data being generated and constantly enhance the security to safeguard the payment system of the cyber threat. Now, next issue pertains to the judiciary. The judiciary is simply not willing to do its job. Today, there are 4.7 crore cases which are pending at different levels of the judiciary. And when so many cases are pending, the judiciary starts poking its nose on issues which are irrelevant, like when should the mandir be kept open, who should go inside, who should go outside. Now, this so many cases are pending because of three things: adjournments, admissions, appeals. This requires a firmness from the Supreme Court, which must set an example. Avoiding litigation or preferring a quick resolution is not their concern at all. The tendency should be addressed with lot of urgency. There's a culture of forced delays, ineptness, inefficiency, lack of accountability. The delivery of justice is very, very slow. The Supreme Court hardly ever imposes cost on people who go in for unnecessary litigations. Exemplary precedents have to be set. Lok Adalat have to be improved. We should get many systematic revamping of methods and practices. Engaging lawyers to deliver justice can help. Getting retired people back will help. There are many out-of-box remedies that can be utilized so that the cases get reduced completely. The next issue pertains to China's multi-domain war and as to how we are countering it. There was in between an olive badge from Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, who said he wants good relations with India. We should just forget Pakistan. Relations with Pakistan is unlikely to improve. We should focus our attention on improving relations with other economic powers so that our economic strength increases. The next issue pertains to China's defeat at the United Nations, where Abdul Rahman Makki, who was the mastermind of 26/11 attack, has finally been declared as a global terrorist. China found itself cornered over its ambiguous stand on terrorism, with 14 of the 15 countries of the United Nations Security Council speaking with one voice against global terror. So therefore, China had to back down and he has been declared as a world terrorist. It has got many implications, but more important is to declare many such people, many such terrorists as world terrorists, so that continuous pressure is put up on China. The next issue is defense budget, along with other budget, is likely on 1st of February. So let us hope that the defense budget does get adequate support and we are able to reduce our dependence on imports hell of a lot and become Atmanirbhar in this particular case. The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defense has recommended that defense expenditure should at least be 3% of the GDP, but this is not happening. The Air Force chiefs have regularly been saying that the Air Force strength is gone down to minimum. They require 42 squadrons. They have less than 31 squadrons. So let us improve our speed of indigenization. Let HAL manufacture aircraft faster so that the deficiencies of the Indian force are made up in some time frame. Another and the last issue today is that a lot of multinational conferences are unhappy with China because of the corona, because of many other restrictions that have been laid up, and they are wanting to move out. Up till now, well, a lot of factories have moved out to Vietnam, some have come to India, but we need to get them much faster than what we are doing presently so that we are able to emerge as an alternative towards China. With this, I'll stop. Thank you very much for listening to me patiently and Jai Hind.